Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Ghosts in the Cloud, your anime podcast, where each week we discuss a different anime movie or show. My name is John, and with me is Bridget.
Hey, guys!
We have a special guest this week, Tim.
Hello.
On today's episode, we are discussing the anime Dragon Ball,
Woo!
specifically the first 2 story arcs, so the first 25 episodes or so. But before we get into that, as we do with our guests, we like to get a feel for what their first animes were. So, Tim?
Well, Dragon Ball was actually the first anime I ever watched.
Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z?
I started with Dragon Ball at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
See, I went back. I was introduced to Dragon Ball Z first, and then I went back to Dragon Ball. It's interesting to go back because I feel like Dragon Ball is designed to be more comedy-based.
Yeah, I can see that.
Is that your favorite one, too?
Well, I think I would say that Avatar is my favorite anime.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's fair, because it is really
It's a
good.
westernized anime, but we consider it an anime.
It's a really good show.
It's
I
phenomenal.
want to finish it so we can get to Legends of Korra, which we haven't done yet. Okay, so next up is our news of the week. News is light this week, anime fans.
I mean, since all the news is coming out in October, so we're kind of just going to make do until then. The official Facebook page for Adult Swim Tsunami Block announced on Wednesday that it will be airing Cowboy Bebop again, and that will start September 9th. And the block will add an extra half hour for the programming, so it won't replace anything currently airing, but it will bump Attack on Titan back to a later time slot. So we have hours and hours late into the night of amazing shows.
Tsunami starts at 11 p.m. and ends at 4 a.m.
Which is crazy to think about, but...
And we were actually laughing because we were looking this list over and we realized that half of the list are things that I grew up with on Tsunami 15 years or so ago or so.
Only like 2 years ago when we were teenagers. What? I mean, 20 years ago. I feel like some of these shows were still on Tsunami Block, and it's crazy that even now they still bring back like some of the old classics. Like,
Lupin the Third.
Yeah, Lupin the Third is on there, and they have some Dragon Ball on there.
Outlaw Star.
And and to bring back Cowboy Bebop, which is like a solid classic anime, and
3, 2, 1, let's jam.
yeah, but they have some like newer stuff mixed in there. Like they have Tokyo Ghoul, they have some Shippuden on there, and they have the Dragon Ball Super, of course. So thank you for bringing us anime fans together late into the wee hours of the morning.
And that's the news. Next up is Word of the Week.
Word of the week. So, word of the week this week is dragon, and in Japanese it's dragon or ryu. So, dragon might not be so hard to remember. Sounds like dragon.
That is fair. Okay, so on to our anime.
And spoiler warnings.
Yeah, I guess spoiler warning for a show that's
It's been around for 30 years.
old. Yeah. 30
Yeah.
years old. I think
You had
it's
your
older.
time.
It's definitely older than us, right? I think so.
It's been around since
86.
86.
84.
No,
Wow.
86.
Oh, 86? Still
Still
well, it's older
older,
than me and Tim.
Yeah.
Just-
That's my year. It's not that old. It's like, it's a baby.
Oh, yeah, it says it right there. The anime series premiered in February of 1986 and is based on the Dragon Ball manga that debuted in 1984 in Weekly Shonen Jump. And it was created by Akira Toriyama. As I was doing research for this episode, I found some very interesting stuff, or at least stuff I thought was interesting. So it started off as a manga series.
We're still going to do this.
Yeah, I can't.
We're still
I mess
doing
up
this.
Japanese words like every week. It's like a bit, but I'm not doing it on purpose.
He's really not.
So, it was originally called Dragon Boy, and the story depicted a young boy named Tauntaun and his quest to return a princess to her homeland. The series was a loose adaptation of the Chinese legend Journey to the West, depicting Monkey King Sun Wukong. Due to the series' unpopularity, Toriyama rewrote Dragon Boy, adapting it as Dragon Ball. All of the characters' personalities were changed except for Goku, and the readaptation named Dragon Ball became a hit.
And that's where the monkey kind of came from, really.
That's it's based off of that legend. So,
cool.
In the US, it originally aired on Cartoon Network Toonami back in 2001. And it only aired after Dragon Ball Z had become popular. It actually had attempted to release in the United States prior to that on 2 attempts. First one was in 1989, not long after the show was created. I believe the show actually was created in 86, so it came over to the US in 89 originally. But the people who acquired the rights in the US changed a lot of things, and it did not go well. So Goku's name was changed to Zero. And they changed a lot of sort of different stuff. They test marketed it, and it did not do well. And it's actually been referred to as the lost dub by fans because you can't actually find it anymore. It's just we just sort of know that it happened. I imagine if you really gave it your college try that you would find it. But then the second attempt was in 1995, where the first 13 episodes came over dubbed. Joint production between Funimation and BLT Productions. Sounds delicious.
Even though we just ate, so...
The original 13 dubbed episodes were later released to home video by Kid Mark as Dragon Ball: The Saga of Goku. And the anime series that was produced closely matched the manga that it was based on, which is pretty cool. They actually compared this to Sailor Moon. The reason they did that is because the Sailor Moon manga apparently is not very similar to the anime adaptation.
Really?
Yeah, apparently this was like a very close one-to-one. They obviously take liberties in changing the animes and whatnot, but... So, it takes place on sort of an alternate reality Earth. In this reality, some animals can talk.
And there's dinosaurs.
There's dinosaurs, but there's also incredibly advanced technologies like the dino capsules, which can store pretty much anything into a tiny little throwable capsule, which might be one of the coolest pieces of technology ever created.
I think we need that technology.
Yeah, that would be something.
Like, they fit a whole house in one of those things.
Yeah, motorcycles and whatever they need can fit inside a dino capsule, which is kind of crazy. We're covering today the first 2 story arcs, and that is the first 13 episodes where it's like the search for the Dragon Balls. You get the introduction to Goku, Bulma, Yamcha, Oolong, and Poir, and then the bad guys, Pilaf, Mai, and Shu. And then the second story arc is the World Martial Arts Tournament, where Goku goes and trains with Master Roshi, meeting his lifetime friend Krillin. They're training under Master Roshi and ultimately their entrance into the World Martial Arts Tournament. So that's what we're going to be covering today. So the show starts, it's in this mountain area. You get this little hut and this little, what we soon to find out, 12-year-old boy walking around, and there's something a little off about him. He has a tail, for one. He's incredibly strong, too, and he's very strange.
A wee bit.
So his name is Goku.
So Goku is Japanese onyomi name rating as Sun Wukong from Journey to the West.
Goku also refers to an amount of rice needed to feed a person for a year.
Yeah,
which
okay.
is funny because
I can't think of a better name for him.
Goku
now
has
you
an
mention
insatiable appetite.
I think he's had more rice than any Japanese character in history.
And you get the intro of Goku, and soon after, the second main character, Bulma. So Bulma is a couple years older than Goku. She's a teenager, very intelligent,
very prim,
but very she's
a
I don't want to say
she's
basic.
Kind of a brat.
she's
she's
basic, right?
She's a little shallow. She's kind of a brat.
Shallow, but
she cares
she's
about her
smart.
looks. Yeah, she's not a bad person. She's a good person. She's caring.
And you instantly get sort of your first impressions of these characters. So Goku is this very strange little boy with these incredible sort of powers and abilities. Bulma is this sort of regular but intelligent woman who is in search for the 7 mythical Dragon Balls.
Yeah, and she's the one who told Goku about them.
Yes.
Got him on his first
So when
quest.
gathered, they can summon the dragon Shenron, who will grant a wish to the Wishy, I guess you can call him.
The Wishy.
Yeah, the Wishy. Anything they want. And they set off on this journey meeting a variety of sort of interesting characters. What are your impressions? Okay, so Goku comes across as this very kind-hearted but dim-witted individual. In my opinion, Goku is incredibly likable from the get-go.
Did you like him at first?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's definitely the protagonist, easy to like.
Well, I think his stupidity makes him easy to like.
Yeah. His
walls
are down.
He doesn't understand.
You pity him a little bit. It's like, all right, I'll side with this guy. He needs the support. I'm watching this show for the first time. I did not grow up on this show like most people who like anime. And when we got a copy of it, it was the unedited copy. Not realizing that a child's cartoon show would need to be edited. The kid likes to whip it out a lot and pee into the lake.
He has
uncensored.
no problem being naked.
Yeah, he has no problem. He is a free spirit. He is free, and he will go wherever he wants to go.
He did grow up in the mountains, though. I mean, I guess you can't fault him, right?
Pretty alone, when it was his grandfather. Man, I was blindsided by that. It was really funny, and it hasn't slowed down at all. It's been very consistent. But now I'm used to it.
So they set out on an adventure to find the Dragon Balls. They meet a few of the other characters, Yamcha, Poir, Oolong. They each have their own individuality. Yamcha's this desert bandit who just takes what he wants. He doesn't really adhere to sort of any law. Oolong starts off as this tyrant. He's taking all the girls from the town and marrying them. You find out that that's backfired on him, which, I mean,
It's
I feel
funny.
like anyone would understand.
When you
how that's
see
gonna
his
backfire.
home, they're all like taking advantage of it, laying around, sunning themselves, like demanding he pick up for things for them. And he's like, damn it, this is high maintenance.
And
So,
Poir,
yeah,
who is sort of
backfired.
Yamcha's sidekick, cares for Yamcha deeply and wants to see him sort of happy. They go on the adventure to find the Dragon Balls, and they come across the first real villain of the show, Emperor Pilaf, and his goons, Mai and Shu. I didn't put it together. Shu Mai. That means dumpling.
It's a Japanese dumpling.
So I never put that together. And Pilaf obviously is like a rice dish.
Yeah, they're
So
all
it's just like-
delicious.
I love the fact that the names in this are based on food or clothing. Bulma's based on like briefs.
Yeah,
Stuff
Yamcha
like-
is basically Cantonese takeout.
I guess the creator was just always hungry when he was coming up
Yeah,
with
he
characters.
just really loves food, which we do too, and we totally appreciate it.
So Tim, what are your takeaways from the first sort of half? So we have the search for the Dragon Balls. You have the big reveal. Goku has said a few times up to this point that a great creature had once killed his grandfather. And that,
Right.
You know, he does his best not to be out on a full moon, and you find out that it was in fact him, although he doesn't, keep this memory of the fact that he's the one who transformed and killed his grandfather Gohan. So what are your big takeaways from the anime itself? No pressure.
Yeah.
Take your time. I can edit this all out.
Not, he lies. He lied to me.
And then doesn't he get his tail cut off or something?
He does
at
get
this
his
point?
tail cut off at one point.
Funny you mention it, Tim.
That actually is after they're captured by Pilaf. So
Yes.
Pilaf finds them. They've collected 6 of the 7 Dragon Balls, I believe.
Yeah, and Pilaf swoops in and takes them. Then we see his
And then he
transformation.
transforms.
Right.
First time.
So he transforms and he breaks out of the castle. And Yamcha, having overheard Goku say once before that if somebody grabs his tail, it becomes weak, he asks Poir to turn into a giant pair of scissors. Now, this is one thing I never understood about Poir and Oolong's ability to transform. Oolong can transform, and it's obvious that Poir is better at it, right? Oolong can transform into these monstrous creatures or beings, but his strength and his abilities don't really change.
Yeah.
But Poir can transform into a pair of scissors
And
then be
pair of
sharp.
scissors.
That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Yeah,
And-
but you know what? Poir is also like more studious and caring.
And you find out they went to the same school.
Yeah,
to
so I'm sure
learn
it just
transform.
comes down to Poir being a better student.
I guess. that would be a hell of a power, though.
Hell
Wonder Twin
yeah.
power activate. What are some of your favorite aspects of the show? Well, Dragon Ball starts off as a comedy, right? I mean, like, that's
Starts
one of-
off, does it change? I'm going to spoil it for me right here
well,
now.
the first season, I would say, has a lot of comedy roots. Goku's very naive, not understanding the difference between male and female, and tapping private parts that he shouldn't be tapping to just find out.
Are you a female? I can't tell. Let me check it out. No.
Well, I mean, I think some noteworthy stuff from this first 2 story arcs are that you meet Yamcha, and Yamcha's kind of like the first example of someone who challenges Goku, but then eventually gets won over to Goku's side.
Well, that's a good point. Yamcha, I guess, technically starts off as a villain.
Yeah.
Although he's not necessarily... Oh, I guess he's evil. No, I don't want to say he's evil.
he's
He's not evil on the
He's-
scale of any of the subsequent villains,
He
but
was just on
he's
the other side.
He's
at
out
one
for
point.
himself. is really what it
Yeah.
is.
yeah.
But, like, you kind of could tell at the beginning that it was going to lead to him being on his side. He's
I
not
guess-
a bad person.
I guess it goes back to what I said earlier. It's hard not to like Goku.
Yeah.
And even the
Yeah.
other characters realize that. Oolong, who is against going with Bulma and Goku at first, so even though he's forced into it, sort of befriends Goku, and then ultimately Bulma. And that first story arc sort of ends with the dragon being summoned, and Oolong, of all people, saving the day.
Right.
Just as Emperor Pilaf's about to make his wish, he makes the wish for the most comfortable pair of underwear in the world, and it happens to be a pair of ladies' panties that just fall on top of his head.
You can
and he
wish
just has
for
a
anything.
little, like, of all things. Like, why is that
the
on his
most
mind?
comfortable pair of underwear.
First of all, like, okay, I can understand not having, like, a great wish because you're in distress, like, all the work you've done is now it's about to be ruined by this guy. He's a pig person. So why is, like, human clothing? I guess he's wearing human clothing.
Maybe because he's not human that he has trouble finding the most comfortable pair of underwear.
That's a good point.
And it's just
It's gotta be
always
hard.
on his mind. You
That
know,
could be
like
true.
it's driving him nuts, like the constant wedgies and like the rashes, and it's gotta happen.
I guess that's fair.
I mean, if you guys were under distress, like, do you think you would come up with a ridiculous thing? Or
Truth is, I don't know if I would be quick enough to think of like jumping in and making a wish. I would probably be more concentrated on stopping Pilaf from making his wish, but I don't think I'd go the route, I gotta get in there and make the wish first. I think it'd more be like, I gotta punch this guy in the face.
yeah.
Shut him up for a minute. That sort of completes the first story arc.
Yeah.
Bulma's original wish was to find a boyfriend. Yamcha's original wish was to not be
So shy around
immobilized and
Yeah,
shy
by
around
women.
women, and they ultimately come together, and now they're dating.
In love.
Yeah,
Yay.
so there's a lot of comedy aspects to sort of how the story progresses, and getting Oolong to join them. Like, Bulma plays a terrible trick on him by giving him this capsule that...
Okay, so this show, they could have done anything to get Oolong under their power to cooperate. They chose to make him have diarrhea every time they say Peggy. How's that? Like, I really do like the comedy in the show.
I think it was interesting because I came from Dragon Ball Z originally, and Dragon Ball Z is not really based on comedy.
Really?
I mean, there may be some comedic aspects to it, but it's very heavily sort of an action show than it is a
A
comedy
manly
show.
drama. I see.
I was thinking more like Bleach, where it's not. It's like
love
serious.
Bleach.
It's meant to be serious. At least.
Another one we're gonna do.
And then you get the second story arc, which I think is actually more fun. It seems to go a little quicker. Goku
I
decides.
think it's also worth mentioning that after you make a wish, the Dragon Balls need
yes.
Oh, thank you,
Good.
to
Tim.
reset.
Good
Yes.
catch.
So we got to watch the dragon take these Dragon Balls, and all of a sudden, like shooting stars, they fly away. And I think that's when Bulma explained that they did shoot to different corners of the world, where you have to once again find all the Dragon Balls and reunite them to bring back the dragon to make another wish.
However, you can't do it for a whole year because
Yes.
the Dragon Balls turn to stone.
So you won't see them for
Good.
a year.
Catch Tim.
Yeah, so after they make a wish, they have some downtime to do other types of things.
Yes.
Right, and that's actually what prompts
Which brings us
Goku to seek out the character Master Roshi, which he briefly
Master
met
Roshi.
early on when he was helping Chi-Chi and her father. Goku goes to Master Roshi, and at the same time, another character is introduced, Krillin, who ends up becoming
Krillin.
Goku's training partner
And Buddy.
and friend and sort of rival.
Yeah, but
And
in a good
they
way.
push each other. They push each other to sort
Exactly.
of a limit. But before they can be taken on as students, Master Roshi requires them to complete a challenge. Bring him a pretty lady.
Yeah.
Master Roshi might be
This
the best
guy-
character in the first season.
He really
simply
is
because he
something.
is... he's a pervert. It's very, very funny. He requests his 12 and 13-year-old students, or 11 and 12-year-old students, however old they are, to find a woman for him, bring her back to his desert island, which I'm pretty sure is kidnapping,
Oh, yeah.
for him
But
to
the-
do whatever it is he wants to
He
do. And
had to
he
first-
says he wants to just take a nice stroll.
For a stroll on the beach. Right.
He is incredibly...
He had to explain to Goku what an attractive female looks like because clearly he didn't get it. It was really funny. Like this big hulking thing he brought. No. He had to and then freaking Krillin comes
Fortunately,
by. Krillin nailed
Krillin knows what he's doing.
it. Yeah. Details omitted.
And you get some backstory on Krillin and how he used to train with these other guys, but they were always picking on him, so he sought out Master
Yeah.
Roshi to become a better fighter. They find a pretty lady in the character of Launch, who also has her own sort of
Backstory.
interesting backstory.
They
when
totally
sneezes-
could have made a show just on this one character. I feel like each character is really well done. Really thought out.
Yamcha, for sure.
Yeah, but
Bulma, maybe.
But I feel like the other characters have a really interesting, each character is
Tim,
really well
since
done.
Since you've seen Dragon Ball Z, I believe you've seen GT, right?
Yes.
And,
Launch.
I haven't watched any Super yet.
I haven't
but-
watched any Super yet either. Not spoiling anything for Bridget.
Yeah, please don't.
Based on this
Love you
alone,
guys.
what would your wish be? Your one wish.
I don't know. That's a lot of pressure. I don't know. I might just go with what Pilaf did and try to rule the world.
Under pressure.
But then Goku would probably stop me, so that might not be a good plan.
Yeah,
but
I feel like
if
that's
you were
a
to talk
heavy
to Goku,
responsibility.
he'd be like, "Nah, this guy's good. I think we should totally let him have this wish."
I mean, you could just wish for world peace or something and not have to worry about ruling the world.
Yeah.
World peace.
World peace would...
Or like $1
I
trillion.
wonder how fast the world would, like, move forward if
everyone got
done
along,
fighting.
right?
Yeah.
Imagine, like, science and technology, just
But
like how
world
fast
peace
things
wouldn't
would
just
happen.
be among people, it would be among all living things. Maybe people wouldn't
Ooh.
pollute the world to
If it be
poison the other
among
creatures
all... No,
anymore.
if it
No,
would
because
be
then
among
everyone would go vegetarian.
all living things.
But
Yeah.
what about the plants?
No, plants don't have feeling.
Plants have feelings.
No, okay, don't look at me like that.
They do have
They
feelings.
don't.
No, there are plants that do have feelings. There have been studies, and we're getting off topic, but there have been studies that where, like, if you yell at a plant continuously, it'll, like, droop and die. But if you say re-encouraging things to it, it will come back to life.
Okay,
I
I'm
don't
a
know about that. I'm a
vegetarian.
little
To tell that to
skeptical.
me, it's very
Don't quote me, but I
upsetting.
swear I've read that somewhere.
Okay, I need to research this in further detail because I find this really far-fetched.
All right,
and
back
it's
on
really
football.
sad.
Story arc 2, you get the training and the introduction to Lange, who has this ability, and it's not a voluntary
Oh, no.
ability.
Whenever
When she sneezes, she turns into like it's like a Jekyll and Hyde situation.
She's got
Wow,
two
yeah.
personalities,
I forgot about
two
both of those.
appearances. Like she goes from dark purple hair to blonde hair.
Yeah,
and
that's probably the strangest change, but well, no, I guess
she's
her personality
literally
is the
she's
strangest
two
change.
sides to a coin, and when she sneezes, she flips. And like I said, she could I feel like that character really interesting could be its own show.
The one side is like very nice and sweet.
Yes.
Innocent, and then the other side is this bandit who uses
Shoots
guns.
first and asks
Yeah,
questions
exactly.
later, but very funny.
And then you finally get the training, and I gotta say, I first started watching Dragon Ball Z when I was 13. I think I started Dragon Ball a few years later, and I was just like, I want to train like this. And the training was delivering milk every day for 3 hours, like running up and down mountains, digging with your bare hands.
Being
like-
chased by dinosaurs.
Well, I don't think you're being chased by her. I think that was
that was just a bonus.
that was a bonus.
what else?
Swimming in shark-infested waters to outswim
Yes.
them. And I was just like, man, imagine how powerful I could be if I could outdo all of those things.
Don't try, please.
It's
don't
not
try.
possible, people. Just a heads up.
Okay, so the training, it reminds me a whole lot of the Karate Kid. Mr. Miyagi reminds me a whole lot of Master Roshi
I can see
because he used unorthodox means to train his students, but with house chores, like delivering milk, washing the car, painting the fence. The student did it at first, like trusting this master. And then after a while, like in the Karate Kid, he was like, all right, this is ridiculous. Enough. I've done all your chores. Your backyard looks beautiful. Your cars are clean thanks to me. Like, I need to know why. And he shows him that the movements of his wrists and everything were he was actually learning and strengthening those joints, and he was actually learning something. And here we have Goku and Krillin. We're actually building up strength doing these simple chores. And I was like, that is so Karate Kid.
And it pushes them to a level not
like
possible
unmatched.
in our
Yeah,
world.
no, I mean, but it was
Maybe
amazing.
prior to them sort of training under him, that level of strength was possible.
Mhm.
But now they're moving boulders with their bare hands. They're punching through, like, solid walls. Goku's learning abilities that took Master Roshi 50 years to learn.
But he's not normal.
He's not normal, that's fair. Goku isn't normal. But Krillin is right on his tail.
Yeah, he's not far
Literally.
behind him, and he's perfectly human. I mean, it is,
Minus
it is
a
an
nose.
anime,
Is he?
so... Or it's da-da-da. But, I mean, I don't know.
Tim's just
I,
throwing
no,
wrenches.
please
Tim's
stop.
throwing
Don't
wrenches
ruin
through.
anything for me. I assume he's human. Yeah.
So, yeah, for now he's human. Anyways, a year passes, and the martial arts tournament arrives, and they enter. And Master Roshi says to them, it's not your goal to win, it is your goal to simply learn.
Exactly.
And Master Roshi takes on the disguise of Jackie Chun, which
nod
is
to
literally
Jackie Chan.
a nod to Jackie Chan, to face off against his students to ensure that they lose, so they never lose the drive to continue to learn martial
Yeah,
arts.
but
and
one of the
increase their abilities
contestants
and
even
strengths.
realized who Master Roshi was, and
Two of the
you know,
contestants realized.
yeah,
So Yamcha
and
is also
Yamcha.
there. They have all make it to the final 8, and the final 8 fights happen, and they're all sort of weird and bizarre in their own way. Krillin goes up against this monstrous fat guy who's incredibly smelly, and he only wins.
He uses his smell to win.
He uses grossness and smell to win, and Krillin realizes that he doesn't have a nose, so he can defeat him. But you know, it took
Thanks to
Goku to
Goku.
remind him that, Krillin, you don't have a nose. And that was it.
Because he's literally not drawn with the nose.
And they go throughout. Yamcha faces off against Jackie Chun and loses downright instantly. You know, because Jackie Chun is Master Roshi and he has 50 plus years of experience.
And he's the craziest, most powerful fighter in the world.
And you get backstory on other characters like Nam, who is this Indian fellow who's trying to win the prize money for his village because they need to buy water.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
What's that?
they sort of give you a reason to like each of the characters.
Yeah.
Except for maybe, I guess, the smelly guy, whose name escapes me, but...
He's not relevant.
It's just as interesting.
You kind of root for Nam in a way. And then when he loses, Master Roshi gives him the dino caps, right? And
Yeah, he gives him a dino capsule that can carry thousands of tons of water, which
and he's
is
like, but I don't have
free
the
in
money
city.
to buy the water. He's like, it's free. And he's like, what? That's
So,
all I
like,
needed.
even though Master Roshi's a pervert,
Oh, yeah.
he's a nice dude.
Yeah, he's nice.
Not often you could say that about a pervert, but, you know what, Master Roshi's a special kind of pervert.
He's special.
You get introduced earlier on, before the tournament, but you see it more in the tournament, to, in my opinion, the most iconic special move in all of anime, the Kamehameha. And if you haven't ever tried to do the Kamehameha yourself, you're kidding yourself.
Yeah.
You're lying to us. We don't want you to listen anymore. Get out of here. No, but everyone I know, including myself, and I believe I tried last week or two, even.
Are you seriously?
I was drunk, I think, so...
So you were...
Okay, so I went to see the eclipse for anybody in the United
Nashville.
States, and I drank a little bit. And I don't drink normally, so I got a little tipsy, and I figured, okay, I'm seeing a full-on eclipse here. This is going to be hero-style eclipse. I'm getting a superpower. I just got to figure out which one. So I think that was my first move, to try and throw a Kamehameha. It did not work, which I'm not happy about, but I got a long list.
Are you really upset that I
No, it was
missed this?
teleporting. Teleporting was the first one, and then it was...
I hope Anthony got this on video.
I don't know if he got me throwing a Kamehameha, but he got a lot of it. Some of it's got to be edited. But it's this gathering of ki, or I guess what we know as chi, your energy concentrating into your palms and firing it in a blue energy wave that can cause destruction. And now, when did you first watch Dragon Ball?
I was probably in my 20s, got an adult when
I was a little bit younger, so I guess I had a reason for trying a Kamehameha, though. I doubt you haven't, though.
No, I've tried it once or twice.
Just to see.
Yeah, you gotta try it.
Yeah, you gotta give it a try. You know, you've seen it so many times, you're like, I could do that. I just gotta give it a go.
Like, yeah.
Bridget just mimed doing Kamehameha.
No.
It was poor form. It was poor form.
I did my best, guys.
That
was my first attempt, though. You guys had practice.
The story comes to a close where it's Goku and Jackie Chun in the finals. Krillin is also defeated by Jackie Chun. He does surprisingly well, much better than Yamcha, but ultimately defeated by his sensei, right? Because they're Japanese.
Yeah, but barely. I mean, what Master
Krillin's
Roshi had to do just to beat him?
Krillin's a very smart fighter.
Yeah.
You know, he had some aces up his sleeves, knowing that Jackie Chun was also a pervert like his Master Roshi. You know, and
that was really funny.
He was a little more prepared. I think Goku has a sort of a natural talent that he goes off of, and his just drive to never lose.
Yes.
But Jackie Chun, he pulls out all the stops. All the stops. The battle rages on so long that the moon rises. Goku has, in fact, grown his tail back, which increases his strength, but also, now flash forward to the Jackie Chun match, and him and Goku are squared off. The battle's raging on, and a full moon rises. And next thing you know, Goku turns into a great ape. Somehow not stepping outside the ring.
Yeah, he stayed in the ring. Good job,
Somehow stayed
Goku.
in the ring. And Jackie Chun, doing only what he can, powers up his max power and throws a Kamehameha at Goku, presumably. The dust settles and Goku's nowhere to be found, but you find out Jackie Chun blew up the moon and caused irrevocable damage to the rest of the world.
Yeah, no more romantic moonlight strolls.
The tides are going to get all screwed up. Animals are going to be freaking out. But
No more
ultimately turning
tides.
Goku back into his human form. battle rages on until they throw one final kick at each other, and Jackie Chan manages to stand up and announce himself the winner.
And even in the end,
have you ever had any desire to do martial arts?
I mean, not seriously, no. I mean, it would be cool. Don't get me wrong.
See, I grew up on shows like Power Rangers, so I've always wanted to do martial arts, and it made me go out and actually start Kung Fu, which I have absolutely loved. Unfortunately, I don't have a massive amount of time to do it, but shows like this only fuel that for me, you know? It's such a magical thing to just watch yourself transform into that. Like, I know I'm very low on the totem pole, but I know how to throw a proper punch. I know how to throw a proper kick. I know how to defend myself against certain punches or kicks or grapples or whatever it may be, and it's very cool. I don't know why I had to bring it up, but I love it.
I mean,
Shows
part of your
about martial arts.
inspiration was the show.
Something that I'm glad this show eventually sort of adds to is the martial arts gets better and better. You'll see that as time goes on. As I asked earlier, Tim, what are the biggest takeaways from the second story arc of what we'll dub, I guess, season 1, where it's the first 25 episodes or so? But
Well, definitely that Master Roshi had trouble beating Goku.
off of that,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Training's complete, and he's having trouble, and he's just like, this is my training. I've been training myself 50 years plus.
I remember him just being really surprised that it took everything he had just to defeat his student.
At least twice, both of them were like flown out of the ring, and I think Goku used his tail to like hovercraft back, and
Yeah, it's
it was
very
a lot
bizarre
of,
at times.
yeah, a lot of funny
But
stuff.
fun. The show goes by surprisingly quick,
Yeah,
and they
so
manage.
funny, so
They managed to
entertaining.
create villains, but the villains are also comedic in their own way. And...
Yeah.
Yeah, Pilaf's a great villain. Very persistent.
Oh yeah, Pilav's never. He's like deterred for only a second. He's just like, no, I'll get it this time. I'm back at it, and he never stops. Never stopping. I think that's the term, right? I don't know. I'm just talking shit now.
Doesn't mean you want to get back into anime.
I should watch more anime, but
Well, if you're gonna watch anything, Tim, you should watch Dragon Ball Super, because I also want to start Dragon Ball Super. Anthony's watching Dragon Ball Super. I'm saying names that you people have no idea what we're talking about. But
they know Anthony.
People that we know. Yeah, everyone knows Anthony. He is notorious.
he is the man who made our intro theme, and we cannot thank enough.
Yes! He is so good.
Dragon Ball Z, that franchise is one of my favorite animes. It's so enjoyable to me in every way. Like, this franchise, it holds a very special part in my heart.
So this is how it's going to go down. With any big show, we're going to break it up with a story arc. So we figure maybe like once a month or so. We'll space them out. We don't want it to be like all Dragon Ball all the time.
Yeah, so you'll get another Dragon Ball Part 2.
So you'll get the Part 2 in like, a few weeks. And no set number of weeks, but we'll make sure we space them out nice and evenly.
Let us know, what would you wish
the
if
big
you could
wish.
have the 7 Dragon Balls? I mean, I've already collected them. They're safely at
You did.
an unknown location to you people, and I just got to figure the right keywords, and I'm good to go. But
Summon the dragon.
But yeah, what would you wish if you had the 7 Dragon Balls? Would you want to train with Master Roshi? I mean, I'd give anything to train with Master Roshi.
That would be amazing.
Would you feel comfortable finding him a woman?
Yeah, I mean, if that's your first, task for your master. That's,
you can
interesting.
find this anime on Hulu and Funimation.com.
So remember, guys, you can contact us by our email, gitcanime@gmail.com, and always, our episodes are up on SoundCloud and iTunes, which means we want a rating, good, bad, as long as it's honest.
Let us know.
Let us know so we can improve. And then we're on social media, Facebook and Twitter. Just look for GITC Anime. We'll pop right up. So if you sign up for our Patreon account, we have awesome rewards. And depending on how much you spend a month, depends on how many awesome rewards you get. And we are also adding some special bonus content, and some other pretty cool things that are coming up. So for the 3rd tier that I want to add is that we are going to animeize our fans. So if you pay for the 3rd tier, you will become an anime character.
Yes, Bridget is a really good artist.
I'm an artist, and I will turn you into an anime character. And I'm really excited
about it.
about
Send us a picture on Facebook or Twitter and sign up. Let us know what you think.
So next week we're going to be covering Ray Zero, one of the more recent awesome hits.
Yeah, I was
in
a
the
big
anime
fan
world.
of this.
Yeah, I am definitely a big fan, including the music. The music was pretty fantastic for this one. So if you haven't seen it, give it a watch. I think it's up on Crunchyroll right now. So get caught up before next week, guys.
Thank you, Tim, for
thanks,
being a
Tim.
guest on our
You're welcome.
episode.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for
So,
being
Tim, we
an
will
Avatar.
definitely do. Tim mentioned Avatar earlier. We'll definitely do an
Yes!
Avatar
We can
episode.
talk about Avatar. That
And
sounds good.
Tim will just run the show for that episode. We're gonna hand it
We'll
off.
just let you take
Tim
the
can just-
reins
Tim can
and
just go to
with
town.
it.
And we'll do an Avatar episode in the future. We'll call it our Western anime special.
By
That's what
Tim.
we'll do. By Tim.
By Tim.
Hosted by Tim.
Hosted by Tim.
All right, guys. Thanks again, and thank you, Tim, for joining us.
Thank you.
Oh, and lastly, thank you, Anthony, again for our intro music, and thank you
catchy.
to all of our current patrons. We really appreciate it. All right, bye, guys.
Bye. Meow.